Morning, everyone. We're going to get started. We have a lot of people logged in. I'm Deborah Giddens, Program Coordinator with the Women's Business Center at ODU. And our presenter today is Elizabeth Duncan Hawker. She's with Red Hawk Strategic Solutions. And welcome. We will be sending out a survey later on today. It is extremely important that you reply to that survey. Your responses to these surveys lets us continue to receive funding for these types of programs. Because as you know, this is a free program for all of you, and we want to continue to provide these types of services to all of the clients at the Women's Business Center. So it's extremely important. We would greatly appreciate it if you reply to the survey when you receive it later on in your email today. And now I'm going to turn it over to you, Elizabeth.
Oh, that's excellent. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Just getting ready to share screen. Thank you for coming out today. Give me the screen ability, please.
I'm sorry, I thought I had.
Go. And in the meantime, I'm going to put in the chats before I forget, here is ongoing training. So at the end, I'll be referencing that.
Okay. There you go.
So here we go, share screen. We should be able to get in here now. Let's see here. Hang tight just a second here. Where are we? Should be right there, but I'm not seeing it. Can you see that screen?
I can't see it yet.
Can't see anything yet. So
but I did give you the ability to do that.
So let's see. Let's go back in here. Try it one more time. Here we go. Now it's coming through. Everybody can see that good? We're good. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can actually, up on your upper right, you can click on, you can change how you view things. So if you'd like to see me, you can do speaker. And then so if you want to see interactions at the same time while you're seeing slides. So I hope that helps everybody. And we will have some time for some Q&A at the end. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm thrilled to be here today. So I am the Red Hawk, Elizabeth Duncan Hawker. My business is Red Hawk Strategic Solutions. And I'm known as what's called a business growth strategist. So everything I do is related to helping people grow their businesses or become better at connecting in personal life. Let's see here. Let's see if this is going to go forward. So connecting tips today. So today is all about how we're going to maintain relationships during the pandemic, how we're going to reach out to one another. So what I want you to realize is up here, whenever you see a slide that's in green and it says key connecting tips like that, that's a tip. So we're going to be going through quite a bit of information. If you want to take some photos, that's great. This video will be shared so that we can then, you can go back and digest it a little bit more. If you're like me, you like to go, what was that? So today we're going to roll through what are the things that you can do so you can connect that really builds that relationship. And I highly encourage you to realize this isn't just for business. This is in your personal life too. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about. So there's also the right way to do the ask when you're asking for someone to help you for an introduction or a referral. That's something we're seeing right now that will definitely make you a differentiator of how you're going to stand out. I'll also be bringing you some social media tips and tricks, and you don't have to be a wizard at social media. You just have to be able to be open to what I'm explaining to you so that it becomes a habit in your world. And then also, I want you to start thinking about the ways that you act and what you do and you don't do, so that, because this all represents what's called your personal brand. So whether you work for a business or you work for yourself or you're an entrepreneur that's starting out, this is a personal brand. So it's your reputation, if you think of it really simple terms. That's what's going to give you street cred. That's my term. I don't know if that's too slang for y'all, but street cred is when somebody says your name, you want them to think, oh, I know that person. I like that person. Yes. Okay. So that's how we become top of mind. And then also the next steps that we're going to do, that's how are you going to take all of this and put this into action? So one of the things I would recommend right now, if you have not already gone to my website, it's down here at the bottom of this slide, growthnetworking.com. And there are some 5 secrets there of how you can better connect on Zoom. So there's some additional information. Go in there and click on that. And then also here's a bio link. So you can either make a copy of this or grab it. And Deborah, I don't know, can we grab that maybe and put that in the chat too, this bio link?
Certainly.
So we'll try to add that to you later because we're going to talk about what a bio link is. Okay, awesome. So the next thing we want to talk about is, and I want you to be honest with yourselves, think back on this past year. Think back what you did to connect with people. Think back, did you nurture people? And I'm talking about like the ones that you would consider a loyal fan, or maybe it's a follower, a customer, someone a networking buddy. There's lots of networking buddies that I see that know each other on this. And then ask yourself, did you reach out enough? So, and I know like in my case, there were several months that I did not do enough because I had a big family issue that was occupying me. Other months, I feel like, yeah, I did do enough. I reached out. But ask yourself that, because that affects if you're going to be on someone's radar. So are you on their radar right now, or are you not on their radar? So the other thing I would encourage you to do is to also reflect back. When my customers showed back up, or business colleagues or networking people in my world, how did I make them feel? The key here is feel. So was it like, hey, nice to see you? Or was it like, I've missed you? How are you? Did you genuinely connect? Did you show them that they were missed? Did you show them that they were appreciated? Super important right now. The next thing is we're talking about, and here it is up there in the green, key connecting tip number 1, we're going to start out. So are you top of mind? Because all of this is taking into accountability. What you've done, how you are now, how you show up, and where you're going forward is if you stay top of mind. So, and if you didn't feel like you did well enough, that's fine. So don't kick yourself. I'm just trying to create a sense of awareness. But if you could go back in time, would you have loved more on your network, people that helped you in the past, people that you knew in the past, your customers? What would you do? Moving forward, I'd like you to set a goal for 2 engagement things to do. So the people that come to mind that you wish that maybe you talked to them a little bit more, reached out to them a little bit more and everything, I want you to make a note or do this slide and ask yourself, what can I do to be more engaging over this next year? So just 2 things. It's not hard. We can do that. Here's an example of what one of the local universities did. Is they realized that they used to go to all the live events and they would be pushing information to the people. And then the people in turn would sign up. They had to change their effect and they're pulling information. So what they're doing now is they're pulling information to get their people to come in to do an open house. And when I first saw this, I went, wow, they're going to do an open house. It's actually virtual. So if somebody wants to come, that's fine. But what they're doing is they're creating an excitement. But they had to say, how are we going to stay in somebody's network and not be lost because they're not visual anymore? So pause a moment, think about this. There were some good things that came out of last year. There were some really good things. Going virtual, social distancing, not being able to go to live events. I know if you're an introvert, you're going, okay, hey, that was not so bad. If you're an extrovert, like some of us, we're going, oh my gosh, we miss seeing people, right? But here's some good things. I want you to reflect on this because I don't believe that I'm hearing enough good things that came out of it. And here's some things that I noticed. We don't have no-shows anymore. On your calendar, I know if your calendar looked like mine, there was hardly any white space, right? And then last year was the first year there was more white space and there was black ink on there, right? So no-shows. No-shows used to cost us money. We would either go to meet somebody for coffee or we would show up at their office or we had arranged an appointment and then all of a sudden it's a waste of time, right? So being virtual just took care of that because it's like, oh, well, they didn't make it. I'm going to work on something else while I'm here working at home or wherever my office location is, if it's virtual. We have been able to learn to stack our appointments. That's something I learned in corporate years ago, is that whenever I was going to go visit clients or surgeons or go out into the community, I would stack my appointments in driving order. And I was very efficient with it. Now people are starting to think of it as, oh, we can do that. We can stack our appointments. The other cool part, and I don't know if you've thought about this though, is we are actually more efficient. Why? Because if I'm trying to reach somebody on the phone, okay, I call their office number, it forwards to what? Their cell phone. Their cell phone. So usually I'm getting people on the phone that I was leaving a voicemail for in the office or trying to track them down. So you're actually more efficient. You're not, so I know we're not thinking about that as much. And then also your customers or your colleagues that you're networking with are used to saying, yeah, let's jump on a Zoom. Let's be virtual. That's fine. Versus before they were like, well, what do you mean you don't want to meet live for coffee or you don't want to come to my office? And the nice part is if we can get them virtual, like what we're doing right here, then you can see them. That's why I encouraged everybody, turn your camera on if you can, because the visual is so important to see reactions. When we got them on the phone before and there was hesitation, we didn't know if maybe someone walked in and they were looking at something or if they didn't like what we were saying. So reactions are huge with what we're doing. So that's our good news, okay? Now remember, connecting tip number 2. Now that we're on Zoom so much, or we're virtual, or if you're Skyping, show up, be ready. Be ready. I know this sounds fundamental, but you cannot be surprised how many people, just like when I loaded the information into the chat for you, I said, okay, here's the more training that's coming up. I was ready. So take it and drop your information, your contact information, how they're going to follow up with you, or a key thing. Like, for example, this was a few days ago, and I was letting them know about this event. It's like, great, there's this awesome training that's coming up. I'm inviting everybody to it. It was my way to part of connecting with them. So be ready. Put your stuff in a place that you can cut it, drop it. When it's your turn in the Zoom and they say, tell us a little bit about you or who are you with today? Boom. You're not sitting there typing. That's how we show up like a pro, when we're ready. Zoom chat. I want you to look down at your screen. Do you see the chat? Okay, I blew this one up on the slide so you could see it. Sometimes the chat's got little dots, but most of the time it's just the bubble. If you can learn the power of chat, let me tell you what's going to happen. When you learn that, your networking starts opening up. The chat is in there, but it's different ways. We have a chat for everyone and we have a chat for personal. Deborah, I think, are we set up that they can see personal on there too?
For the chat?
Yeah.
Yes, you can chat direct or you can chat to everybody.
So we're set up. That's an option. Most of your places that you're going to go to, thank you, Deborah. Most of your places that you're going to go to have it so that you can personal. So for example, I see names here on the screen, just like you do. You can go in and you can pull that person up personal. So just like, here's your example. If I saw Alice's name on there, I'd write in, Alice, it's great to see you here today. Okay. She responds, hey, you too, right? I'm going to put a real short message back to her. Let's catch up. Here's my phone number. What's the best number so I can set a time with you? Because I want her to give me her phone number. It may have changed. We've all changed in our contact information a lot. And then I'm done. We're not having a conversation. We're not telling how these things have gone. It's a simple connection. It's like, I've missed you. I'd like to talk to you. Me too. This is how. Done. When you do that on personal chat, what happens is that the people that you have been off of the radar on, guess what? All of a sudden you're back on the radar. And I'm having some of the most genuine conversations that's happening with that. Now, when you're on Zoom, I'm going to try to say this delicately, before you come into an event, please, please, please think about what's in your head. I've just recently learned this. Every day we have between 12 to 60,000 thoughts in our head. Oh my goodness, right? I mean, no wonder there's some days we go home and we're just thinking we don't want to watch anything. We don't want to read anything. We're just, wow, we're on information overload, right? Especially if you're in the middle of learning something. Like I know one of my colleagues out here, she's in the middle of studying for a big certification. So if you're like bombarding yourself with information, I get that. But here's the thing, 95% of our thoughts are repetitive. And I don't want to, we're going to do more of this when we do it our next session here on April 21st. So hopefully you'll be coming back on that when we talk about training and removing blocks. But this what happens is if you don't clear that before you show up, what happens? What happens when you're connecting with people? This. Your face becomes a window to what's going on in your mind. So when we're talking about connecting, you can do all of this stuff right, but if you're showing up and you're looking perplexed or exhausted, and we need to see you on the camera. So I'm not discouraging anybody from not putting their authentic self on the camera. So please don't confuse the two. But what I'm saying though, is if we're sitting here like this the whole time, and we're making faces, and it could be, maybe we've pulled our back, maybe our back's hurting. It could be something. But the person on the other side, when you're networking and you're connecting with people, they don't understand that. So check your face, make sure that what's in your head is not coming through, okay? Because it does cause confusion. And I actually had this happen with a business owner, and she kept squinting and turning her head. And it was almost exhausting kind of meeting with her when we did a one-to-one. And I finally asked her, I said, am I not clear, or should we reschedule for another time? And she said, why do you ask? And I said, because, you're how you keep like squinting at me. She goes, oh, I need to work on that. People tell me that all the time and they think I'm angry at them. Okay. So think about what's in your head so it doesn't come up on your face, or think happy thoughts in your head so then it comes out, right? It's even a better approach. Number 5, your network is your net worth. Your network is your net worth, okay? How are you going to get the net worth? Because you're going to follow up. I cannot stress enough how many people fail to follow up, whether it's in personal relationships, like a friend says, hey, I'd like to get together, and we used to do lunch, but it's like, okay, I'd like to see you. And then you never hear from them. It's crickets. But in business, it is not working for you, because you will not get to your net worth if you don't understand that you have to follow up with people. And here's the statistic, which I think is extremely low. When this came out years ago, I thought, no, 48% of people never follow up. I think it's closer to 75%. So since I've been out here in the entrepreneur world for 6 years, coming out of corporate, I think it's closer to 75 to 80% of people. They have great intentions, and then they just get embarrassed and they think they just don't follow through. And one of my clients, for example, when he was in my follow through training, walked out into the parking lot on lunch break, came back in, said, Elizabeth, you will not believe what happened. I did what you told me to do. I called the person, even though I thought I haven't called him in enough time. It's been a long time. Do you know I got a $47,000 contract in that half an hour out there in the parking lot? And I was like, excellent, Bob. That's excellent. This stuff works. Follow up. And if it's been a while, just say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry it's been so long since I called, but I'm here now. I'm checking in with you, okay? Because 5 to 8 times is what it takes for you to talk and touch someone. You have to get in touch, email, text, phone, Zoom, 5 to 8 times before usually a sale will result. I hope that helps you, because if it's like, if nobody's getting anything right now, this one is like huge. Your network is your net worth. I love this one. And this one is just for you all. I haven't used this before. I'm really excited about this one. I was thinking, what are 2 like obvious things that people always miss? Like, what's the things, and what do the people like that I do? And it came up to this. Does anybody have a personalized emoji? Right? They're super easy to make on your phone, or if you don't want to do an emoji, like this is me with the you can do it. And that was sent to somebody that was in the middle of a project that was running out of time, right? You can also put an inspirational thing in there. Find something that then cut it and drop it into your text. You would be surprised the power of connecting, especially if you haven't talked to somebody in a while, and you just reach out and you send them a, hey, I'm thinking of you, or you find out that they've been sick. something's going on in the world, they're stressed out, you just send them something. Or like these are the, oh yeah, or yes, this is people that were celebrating stuff that's happened really good. And you've either seen it on social media, but instead of just going back on social media, you're saying, hey, I saw this, and you're sending them a text on that. Same thing with an audio message. Has anybody tried audio messages on text? Right? Try it. You will be profoundly surprised how quickly people go, oh my gosh, I got to hear your voice. And it's so easy. And what I usually do is I will put like this emoji here, happy birthday. And then I'll do something like silly, like I'll play this some music like this. So you can play some music in there and sing them happy birthday. That can all go in a text, right? We don't have to be boring. We have to be memorable. That's what we're working on. So we don't want to be like everybody else. We want to be the ones that were on the radar, that they're going, you know what? And I remember she just didn't go, happy birthday on Facebook. She actually sent me some music and played something funny and left me a message. So think about that. Number 7. I get this asked a lot. Elizabeth, what works to connect best right now? Some people think everybody's busy, that we're in our bubbles, okay? So one of the things they'll say is, well, I'm just going to send them an email. And they will spend like an hour crafting an email so it's perfectly worded, right? Emails are fine. 7% effectiveness. I want you to understand that 7% effectiveness of your words. So you spent all that time trying to craft it, but just like the message I told you earlier, I'm sending an audio message to somebody. They're hearing my voice, my inflection, maybe they're hearing my funny card, right? Voice and tone pull people in 38% effective. So just like what we're connecting right now, you're hearing my voice, you're hearing the heartfelt message, that you're hearing my passion, right? The same thing with body language. Body language is the next highest one. So if you get an opportunity to connect with somebody, make sure it's on the phone if you get a chance. And if you cannot get them on the phone, don't leave a message the first time, call them back the next time. And then on the third time, leave them a voicemail, because they're going to see that you've called through. Then leave them a voicemail and then try to get them live, or try to get them on a Zoom, because that body language connection and they get to feel what you're doing and what you're saying is huge. Huge. I'm telling you, this works. Okay. So the next time you sit down and you're thinking you're going to do like, I'm just going to type something out to them, really think on it. Is that the best use of your time, or would it be better to put on your calendar, I'm going to make 10 calls today to people I haven't talked to recently? Okay. That's very effective. Your net worth is related to your net work. Okay. Gotcha. 8. Number 8. This is so simple and it's so overlooked. Proclaim your gratitude. When somebody does something amazing for you, say thank you. You would be surprised how our society has really just eroded on the simple act of making sure that we're saying, I appreciate you took the time to do that for me. Thank you so much. Sometimes when I thank people, it's so unusual that they're thanking me back for thanking them. It's like mind-boggling. It's like, no, I'm thanking you and you're thanking me back. But they're not used to that. You can be a magnet for referrals and invitations to things by simply just saying, thank you. I really appreciate you. And we mentioned this in our other training, cards. When you talk about, this one's from the Atlantic Wildfowl, I renewed my membership. When you send a thank you to your clients and you say, we appreciate you choosing us, or you're thanking a friend, or you're thanking a business colleague for a referral, it becomes contagious, because your brain actually releases a chemical in it that's the same as your brain saying, I'm a success. It's the same chemical. And then that becomes contagious to people around you. So think about that. Are you showing enough gratitude? Are you showing up in that way? Number 9, testimonials on social media. Testimonials on social media. They are powerful. This one is from the one this month, last month. For example, Lauren here is giving me a shout out. She took a picture of the slide, just like you guys are taking photos. She took a picture of it. This was one that resonated with her. She posted on here, Elizabeth Duncan Hawker tags me, dropping truth bombs today. So, and this just went exponential. People were like, well, what did you do? Where did you go? What are you saying? Connecting and getting your testimonials out there, but you need to give them. If somebody brings value to you or you saw something you liked, tell them what that is. And we're going to talk a lot more about that because this is a huge way to connect and be memorable right now. So here's an example, connecting tip number 10. This is actually a photo that one of the students took. I think this was the follow-up, follow-through class I was training, and they posted it. And I loved their, because I'm a fun person, I loved the good job and the tip of the day, and right. And they added the little stickers onto it. So to me, it was like, wow, they took an extra moment and they posted that on social media. You can do that too. Find a way to find something and tell somebody about how somebody fixed your problem. Share that they were the solution to what you needed. I know everybody out here hires enough people that do services, or you've bought their products and something was amazing with it, right? That's a perfect testimonial. That's a perfect way for you to be a giver with it. It's a perfect way for you to say, you know what? I didn't have the right type of earbuds, and yet this one was brought to me by, and the reason why I liked them, okay? You can do anything that's around you and give a testimonial. I loved this though, because this was a nice surprise. I mean, I didn't even know that person felt that much about the class. So find a way that you can do that and share it. And if you're comfortable, if somebody tells you, and your customer or your business networking person says, I loved it when you do this. I didn't expect you to help me with that. Ask them if they're comfortable. Could you use that as a post? If they're not comfortable doing it, say, would you mind if I do that as a testimonial? If they are comfortable and they seem like they would be open to it, for example, ask them to do a real quick video, a 1-minute video of somebody talking about how you solved their problem, or you were the perfect referral for this, is priceless. And I call that the magic. So if you're comfortable with that, that's even a better way to do it. This is very important. Be a giver. I know we hear that a lot about don't be a taker. We talk about be a giver, about how we show up. Here's the thing though. There's so much that everybody out here right now on this group, and that will watch this video in the future, you all have so much talent. You may not think it, but there's always somebody out there that doesn't know what you know, or they haven't had your background. They haven't had your experience level. You are amazing. And until you show that and you give it to somebody, whether like you volunteer in an event, like for example, here I'm at the Women in Defense. I was on their board before, and I used to set up their trade shows. That was something organically natural to me. I had experience in that. Speaking opportunities for several of things. This one over here with the lady with the bottle of the wine was, for example, at the Realtor Association. They were looking for people to give giveaways. This was the lady that won it. When you become a giver in your mentality, all of this is going to come back to you. And then also the people that are sitting around you are going to start noticing, there you go, wow, he or she really shows up and is always there and helpful, and people like him, they like her. And then all of a sudden, guess what? You're on the radar, right? You are on the radar, especially if you've been doing some of the other tips we've been talking about. Number 12, please, 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 please get to the point. Have you ever asked anybody what they do? I know you have. And they sit there and go on and on and on. You're like, oh dear goodness, right? And you're thinking, that's not the question I asked you. I asked, does your service provide this? And then they don't answer that. They don't answer it. They go into blah, 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 and you're like, okay, well, but do you do that? It's confusing. So please listen to what the question is. What's the question the stranger is asking you specifically? And then answer them succinctly, okay? And here's the cool part. If you're not realizing this, people are used to what? The fast swipe, right? What do we got? About 7 seconds, 10 seconds because that's what we do. That's what we do. It's like, and we swipe. Did you know on YouTube that you can speed up the amount of time so that the person is quicker? So like if you want to listen to this video in the future, you can go faster, right? But some speakers are slower and you want to speed it. That's what we almost wish sometimes we had when somebody's standing in front of us. We're thinking, oh, please, do you have a fast forward, right? So be succinct, work on what you're going to say. If you don't know what you're supposed to say and you can't articulate your niche and you can't say in like 1 sentence or 2 sentences at the most what you do or how you help, here's some key areas here. So listen to what they think you're the expert about. It's that simple. Because people will introduce you to others and you have clues there because you're going, oh, I didn't know that they thought I was really good at that, or that's what my business does. And if they keep introducing your business wrong, then clearly you haven't niched right. Okay. So then if you find you're continuing to correct people, yeah, that's not good. So that means our message has been off, right? Okay. Same thing. So look for patterns. Like I have my notepad here. I'm going to write down any questions that come in. I love to collect questions because I like to understand, well, what is the thing that somebody keeps asking me consistently of? Because guess what? That goes into the slides. That goes into my training. That goes into my conversations when I'm trying to help somebody. Okay. So look for patterns and make notes of those. And then also when you're on Zoom or if you're virtual or when you get back in person, what are the things that they're complimenting you about? Like if they say, oh, well, I really enjoy working with, Bob or Sally because they do this. And then you're going, oh, I didn't realize. So that's the things that you need to introduce yourself as, but get to the point. Just think of that like, okay, do I need a fast forward button for myself? Okay. And then you can also, once you fine tune on that enough, think about how you can then shoehorn yourself in to become that solution, because that's a perfect answer. If everybody thinks you're really good at that, which is what happened to me when I first started the business with consulting, and then they kept asking me to teach them professional networking, I was like, okay, I'm listening, I'm hearing, shoehorn in, okay? Look for where you can become that paid solution for what they're doing, or you can become their solution to what their problem is, okay? Because here's the truth, and I put a couple of these in like a beige color for you because it's really a big bomb for you. People don't care about us until they care. They're not going to listen to us until they care about us and they know we are trying to help them. Okay, everything is pretty much boiled down to, I would say 85% of all people want to know what you can do or why they should listen to you. Okay. So that's really important, is if you think, okay, well, they're not connecting with me right now, or this isn't going well because they really don't know if they need to know me. Okay. We get introduced to so much information and so many people in our lives. Think about your social media. I mean, every day I'm getting at least 50, 60 requests on there. I'm sure you guys get tons of them, tons too. It's a lot of people, right? Why do I want to know them? Okay. Articulate your message like we talked about. Make sure you feel like it's compelling. Why is this something? Look at what they are, or listen to them if they're in front of you. And then try to think, okay, what is it about me that would make this person want to know more about me? Okay. And make sure it's short, especially if you're doing a Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, Instagram Live. Make sure you're getting to your point. Front load the information with the value. Did y'all catch that? Front load the information with the value, because you have to prove your point to them that they want to know this. So give them a teaser of what you're going to say and then get to it, and then make sure it's short, okay? And then you can look for concepts too, like how that was received with the people that were following what you're doing if you're on social media. But if you're standing in front of somebody or you're on a Zoom, look for the proof of concept if they're saying the words back to you like, oh, so you're really good at, or I could think about hiring you for, okay? That's your proof of concept. And one of my friends here, for example, she gave a great one, Cheryl Tan. She talked about, she got proof of concept on that. One of her videos on how to be a good host on Zoom was a big hit because she got 5,000 views. So that's a proof of concept. So when people are showing up more for what you have, that's when you know that what you're expressing about yourself is the right thing. But don't expect people to show up because it's you. And I hope I'm not hurting anybody's feelings today, because that was kind of hard for a lot of us to realize, because, you know, we were taught, you know, that we were important people, and we are. There's so many people, we need to be able to stand out. So today is about be a magnet, how to pull people in, maintain relationships, and stay on radar. So these are places to get you on radar. Connecting tip number 15. I think that's 15 up there, I can't see. Be active. Virtually, let's talk about how you're going to show up. Which social medias to make sense for you? You don't have to do all of these. You do not have to do all of these, okay? Instagram. So for example, Instagram is a good connect for me. And recently I'm being very active on Clubhouse. Is anybody on Clubhouse? I don't know if you look at the gallery here. Anybody on Clubhouse? If you are, connect with me. I'm the Red Hawk. Facebook, LinkedIn, find something that you feel like is your portal and you're good at. And then the other thing would be make sure that you're tying in and you're following the associations that you want to know more about, or that you feel is a really good connection for you. So for example, I just listed here a couple of them on here. The ODU events, obviously, Old Dominion University. There's women's events, all sorts of things here. So Toastmasters, I think Francine is one of our teachers on that. So, and on the right here, this is what Clubhouse looks like. For example, I just wanted to show you that. So it's an audio platform if you have not become on there. So if you have questions on that, I'm willing to help you on that. It's a very new thing. Here's the good news though, and I put a little note down at the bottom. You can outsource it. You don't have to be a pro at this. And I can give you a contact of one of the people that I'm working with, and they do amazing posts. It's affordable. You can do that. You can free up your day so that you can be better at other things, but you'll still be in charge of it. So that's how you need to stay on the radar. You have to be out there. If you're not on social media, it will hold you back. And okay. And so that one was 13. So 14. 14. Big, 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 big. This is so big. Has anybody ever reached out to anybody on social media and then you bump into them later, or something happens and you get reconnected, and then you find out that they never saw your invitation? Yeah. Yeah. And you're thinking, okay, but what happens on the human side? When we send an invitation to somebody, and we're going to talk about more of this at the next class on removing the blocks to connecting. But when we send out something like, here's an example of invitations that were sent. Every week I'm getting dozens, I don't know, maybe up to 50 LinkedIn invitations. Okay. So I just snap screened this today, this week. So this is a couple of people that reached out to me. If I do not respond to them, what are they thinking in their head about me? Or more importantly, sadly, are they going to think about themselves? When we don't respond to people on social media, and then they're looking forward to connecting with us, it sends a message back that, oh gosh, did I send the wrong message? Should I have not said that? Did I wait too long? All of these human emotions start bubbling up in our head. So if you get invitations on social media, please make it a priority, like this is here on LinkedIn, but I'm sure you get Facebook, you get Instagram, but people are trying to connect with you. Take a look at who they are If you feel comfortable, connect with them. On LinkedIn, I would say I accept 95% of everything. This gentleman down here, though, when I did look at his profile, so this is another lesson for you too on connecting. There's no picture to it, and when I looked at his information, it was very vague. So you want to make sure that when you are on social media, please put your photo. Please put, it doesn't have to be a great photo, but that is recommended. But put your photo on there so that they know it's you. They know it's not a robot. You know, there's so much AI that's being used right now on false profiles and everything. So make sure that you're showing up that way and fill in some of your information. This gentleman, for example, the former slide that I was showing you, I met him at one of the groups, chatted back. I said, be lovely to meet you. I dropped my information in there, just like we talked about. So my LinkedIn information's in there. And then this Mr. Sandro reached right out and he's trying to connect with me. That's how it works. If you drop your information, if you're prepared and you're sharing your information and you show up in a great way, like we're talking about, we're listening to the thoughts in our heads so that our faces look right, that we're engaging, that we're listening, we're talking, right? Then all of a sudden you're going to get a lot more social media connections on there. And social media connections increases your network because people start putting you on their radar really big. This is an example, for example, when I was working on Clubhouse, met this gentleman, Luke Sievers, and I reached out to him to thank him. Thanking people for what they've shared with you and taught you, and y'all are welcome to do that. Please send me posts and we'll respond back and forth. We'll get to know each other that way. But when you take a moment, and if you liked something, for example, you could take a picture like, you know, large screen of the gallery shot or a slide like we showed about. But when you do that and then you send it to the person and you connect it, all of a sudden you stand out. All of a sudden you're on the radar. You are the person that they're going, oh, wow, nobody does that. That's really cool. And then they look and they want to know more about you because they didn't know you were in the audience. They didn't know perhaps you were in the room, or maybe they briefly met you if it's a live and maybe you briefly talked, but they don't quite remember all of that. But then when you tell them what the value is. So for example, yesterday I connected with this amazing woman on Clubhouse. Her book is actually now a movie on Netflix. So I'm reaching out to her on Instagram, DM, which stands for direct messaging. I'm telling her, thank you so much for your information on how to do a trailer, a book trailer, how you're doing this and that, because I'm in the process of getting a book out. So I'm telling her like, oh, and when you said this, that, and I'm thanking her. She immediately comes back and it's like, oh, Elizabeth, I love your energy. What can I do to help you? And I'm thinking, seriously? Wow, like you're on Netflix, you're in the media industry. This is how it works. When you take a moment to put something specific down, be very specific, how they touched your heart, how they helped you grow, what was the thing that made a difference? That's what we're all humans. And I think a lot of times we get confused because we see so much of the social media, we see so much exposure, and we forget that behind all of that, those are people, those are names, those are people, those are humans. And if we start looking at them from a little bit more of, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for what you did or your information or you shared, you will find your networking world is going to just explode, okay? So that's another great tip for you. Which leads us to, and I showed you at the very beginning, I gave you a trailer, a teaser at the very beginning, our tip number 15. And that is, make it super easy for people to get hold of you. How many people have heard of a bio link? Oh, good. We got Daniel. So a bio link is a super, super easy way. This is mine. And you can look at the top there when you connect on it. So when you go into and you connect on that www.linktree bit.ly/theredhawk, boom, this opens up. So within a moment, you know what I do increases dollars and referrals with top of mind networking to win customers. Here's my tagline. Here's how I can help you more. There's a video there. Here's my LinkedIn way to get hold of me, my Facebook, upcoming events, which by the way, this event was loaded on there. Okay, so then I took this, and this link tree is on my Instagram. And then here's the other ways they can get hold of me. Okay, what a bio link will do for you is very easily help you to be able to say, oh, here. So instead of you giving all of the links, and I'll show you the difference at the end, it makes it super easy. And people need super easy. Remember, we just talked about they're actually fast forwarding through YouTube videos. They're setting the speed faster and they're swiping. That's our society now. That's how we are. So make it super easy for people to connect with you. Okay. And there's lots of other ones besides Linktree. You can go on and just Google BioLink. I followed what the experts who recommended me to do this. And then I said, you know what, if that's what they're doing, that's what I went with. Here's something that I think that we're overlooking. People are going to research you. So we need to get real with ourselves with that. When you meet somebody, and when we were live, and we will be again, but remember they would give us a business card. Our business card was the first thing that they would do. And we would go in and we would use, and hopefully you all have been doing this because this is very powerful when you're connecting with others. You need to Google them. You need to look their name up. You need to look their business up. And this is what people do. This is what successful high-end people do. They research us. They look up, they want to know, is what the person said in front of me, what they're showing up there out there. For example, if you show up and say you're an expert in this arena, and then they turn around and they Google it, and it's like, wait a minute, that has nothing to do with anything of what they just said that they do, okay? It's confusing to people. So make sure if you have a website, realize your website is for validation. It's so when people go there, like I directed you at the beginning to my growthnetworking.com, when you go there, you can learn more about what's going on, and I'm giving value to you. But it's not going to cement you to that you want to work with me. What cements people to people is the people, okay? And this is one of the biggest things that's overlooked, especially in businesses, is that they think that, oh, well, we have a great website, we have amazing marketing that goes out and everything. People won't do business unless they like your people. So if you have some key people, okay, so look around in your organization. If you have a business, you have employees. If you're by yourself, sole entrepreneur, look at yourself, try to figure out how you're showing up out there. But look at yourself and say, how am I showing up out there? Because if my social media presence isn't that great, or my website is different than what I'm telling people, then I need to make that consistent, okay? And take your strengths from the people that you do. If you have key people, take those strengths. Say, you know what? Hey, Tawana, I would like to take you and make sure we're building out your LinkedIn profile, or make sure that we're highlighting you on our newsletter or our website, because we know that you're a great face that's out there. Okay. So promote your big people, your key people out there. Same thing goes with network with those who are loyal to you. So who are the ones that consistently say nice things about you? Who are the ones that then will respond? There's a real good thing. Or who are the ones that are responding on your Facebooks and your Instagrams, or your news feeds, or your company website, or your LinkedIn when you're posting something? Guess what? Those are your fans. Those are your loyal people. What you need to do and try to do is get them onto an email list, because that's where the future's going. The future's not going to be just on social media, because you're not supposed to sell stuff on social media. But if you're in a business and you're trying to grow your network and you're trying to grow your net worth, then what we need to do is then we need to nurture those loyal people who've been following you. We need to get them, and we need to get them onto an email list. And what you do, for example, is then you'll put them onto an opt-in. And if you need more information on this, I'm happy to share that. But that's the important part is my message to you for key connecting tip number 16 here is pay attention to, can you name who your loyal people are? Who are the people that will pick up the phone when you call them? When you want something shared, they'll do it for you. When you're having an ask, they're there for you. And that you in turn would immediately be the ones that be like, absolutely, I'm in. What can I do to help you? That's the loyalty that goes back and forth. So be consistent and that nurturing. And we talked about at the very, very beginning that who have been the ones that you kept on the radar. If you could go back a year in time, would you have done things differently for the people that either your followers, your fans, your customers, your business networking buddies, would you have done something differently? So, and if the answer is yes, then that's where you need to be writing down who are your loyal people or who used to be and who would you like to reconnect with that. So just remember, fact on this one is you are going to be researched, be prepared to be researched, and make sure you're consistent with what that research is going to show them as how you're showing up. And I'm hoping this video is going to work because I loved this. This is a great story about a cat that in Turkey, her little kittens needed some help. And I'm tying it to you have a network. So your network, if you're doing it correctly, like you're working on today and you're building these skills, and we're going to work on this together. When you do this, your network will let you know where you can turn to ask for help and who you're going to ask. And then when, what is the timing for that? And the big thing on the when you're doing an ask with someone, just because you've asked once, guess what? This happened to me 2 weeks ago. Called somebody, left a message, left another message. Person finally calls back, goes, I noticed you've been calling, but there's no messages. I guess their phone system wasn't working. But once again, human mind, what would our human mind and heart normally tell us? Oh, I guess they don't want to talk to us. I guess it's been too long since we called. I guess I'm off their radar, right? Whoosh that away, like when we're swiping stuff away, just go whoosh, swipe that off. Because that's the thing is your when to ask is it may be that we're asking at a time that they were either busy, their technology wasn't working great, that Monday, everything like Monday, all of the internet went down, like the whole area out here, right? Maybe my internet was down then when you're trying to do an ask. So the when is consistently follow up in a loving way. And then that's the way you're going to, how to ask. So let's see if we could stop sharing for a minute, because I want to see if this video will work for you. Let's see. I really hope it does because it's a lot of fun. Let's see here if I can get it. Let's see if I can do share. Let's try a different share. Share over here. Can we see that? Are we seeing it? New share. Are y'all seeing that? Give me a nod if we're seeing it. Are we seeing it? No, we're still seeing that. Okay, stop share. Doggone it. Let's try another one. It should be coming up. Let's see. Okay, I think this is it now. Nothing like a great teaser, right? Okay, is this coming up? Can y'all see it? Can we see now? Yeah, okay, awesome. Okay, great. So this is the video.
James.
Let's see. Oh, doesn't look like it's going to run while we're doing this.
Jordan.
Yeah, we're buffering. So I encourage you to go back and look at that if you get a chance. It's, sorry, nothing like a teaser, right? So, but it's, the video is Turkish cat brings kittens to a vet. And it's the most adorable thing because here is a cat. And my point is, if a cat can do it, we can do it. All you got to know is how to pay attention. Who are the people in your network that will give you some help when you need it? And if you start thinking about that, just like the mama cat did, she said, okay, my babies have eye infections. She scoops them up, she carries them, and she takes them to the vet because she knew that these people would help her kittens. And it's a true story. All right, so let's get back in here. Show you this. All right. So the other thing is tip number 18 is I want you to think about this. This is another question that people ask me all the time. What's the difference between if I'm working with you like today in a live presentation versus, you know, I'm hiring you, Elizabeth, to do a one-to-one. And the thing is, I'm giving, because this is make yourself a giver, I'm giving the same information that I do to everybody. I don't believe in holding back the secrets because why wouldn't we all want to grow together, right? So if you start coming to that in that kind of perspective and be inclusive and don't look at people as being your competitors, or don't look at them that, oh, well, if I tell her this or tell him that, then they're going to be better at that, or I don't want to give away all my trade secrets. Guess what? People are going to follow you and they're going to connect with you because you never know, you might have given them that one piece of information that they needed right at that moment. And when you do that, then that's huge. So the difference is, for example, if somebody works with me on a one-to-one, then that's where I'm helping them cement what we learn into practice. But it's the same information. So make sure what you do is that you show up and that you're showing up in a loving way so that people are like, oh, okay, well, you know what? This was even better, but I still got a lot from that. So that's the part about being a giver on there. That's your tip number 18. Be memorable to those because you're sharing what you know. And then the last thing I want you to think about, take a moment. If you want to take a picture of the screen, but what we rolled through, and then we'll open it up for questions here, is what we rolled through. What was the thing that you said, I want to improve most on? I'm sure there were multiple, but if you're like me, there was like maybe 2 or 3 that really just popped out. It's like, I want to get better at this. So, and please, we could put that into the chat here. That would be awesome if you could just put, so what is the thing that you learned today that's actionable that you want to improve on? You know, was it working on what your mind's thinking about and how your face is showing up? Was it doing follow-up to better connect? Was it staying on the radar? I mean, all this material we've gone through, what is the thing that you're going to take? And then I'd like to know by what date you're going to try to work to improve on this. So for example, you could say, I'm going to work on making sure that I do my follow-up. I'm going to do follow-up daily, and I'm going to make sure that I have made this a daily habit before June 1. So I'm going to track how many times I did my follow-up, and I'm going to score myself. So before what date do you want to see some improvement? Okay. And then this is a goal that I came up with. For example, this is a personal goal for me, but I'm sharing it with you. But on your first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, we're already in the second quarter, but how do you want your year to go? What's your goal? What's your goal for how you want this to work with as far as connecting with people? If you do not set something intentional, you're not going to change. So I can promise you that, because this is, I train this, I know this. So I need you to really think about how many people a day are you going to reach out to? So like, for example, my minimum is 3. And I do that by looking at my phone, who's in there, or looking at my email, who have I not talked to in a while? Or you can even, if you're like me and you keep your texts way back, go back 6 months and look at your texts and then see where was that conversation at. But how many people are you going to reach out a day? This is key here. This is why it's one of your key connecting tips. This is number 19. How are you going to be a resource to somebody? I guarantee you, whether it's your neighbor, your church, your community, your business, your colleagues, your employees, the person at the grocery store, you can find someone that you can become a resource to at least a minimum of twice a week. If you listen to what's going on in their life, you will usually be able to say, you know what, I know somebody that fixes that or does that or has that, or maybe they just need an answer to something. Maybe they don't know, you know, like, okay, 1 + 1 is, and you're standing there going, oh, I know this answer. That's being a resource. Twice a week. How many referrals are you going to give a month? That's a big one, right? How am I going to find a referral? You're going to find a referral because just what we talked about, just like that, you're listening to people, they have a need, you're a giver, your heart's going, there's got to be something. So at least 1 a week, 4 a month, 1 a week. If that's too many, start with 1 a month. That's 12 a year. But how many referrals to somebody else are you going to give them? And it may be, for example, that your colleague just needs an introduction. That's a referral. It may be that they need help trying to get information so that they can start a program or a study on that, or research that. It doesn't have to be business to business, but yes, that's a referral. And then the last thing is, set yourself a goal that you're going to receive two a month. Because when you declare what you're going to receive, because I know we talked a lot about giving, but you also have to declare what you're going to receive, because when you proclaim it and you manifest it and you write that down, you write your goals down, put it on a very visual place that you're going to have, like in your window. That's where I usually keep mine, in my office. Then all of a sudden you go, oh, you know what? You're right. You know what? And then those things come true. So look for 2 referrals at least a month. And I think that's doable. I really do. Like I said, I'm giving you some minimums. Those are my goals though. But please put in the chat, what's your actionable item? And if you don't have to put a date in there, you can keep that, but what's your actionable item you're going to do away? Here's our next trainings. Do you all need me to load that into the chat again? Or Deborah, do you want me to put that in there? Can put that in there next. Okay. And then here's also.
Yes, put that in there because you flipped it and I couldn't get captured it.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
We can go right back. Here we go.
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, I have to key that in. So give me.
Oh, no, then let me do it. I'll do it. So and the last thing I wanted to show you here is, see how all of this information here, like these are all the ways you can, whoops, sorry. So if we go into this, look at all these different ways you can get hold of me, okay? That's what we were talking about, is why a bio link is so important for you, because if you're trying to do all of that, that's a lot to follow up with, versus I gave them the bio link. Remember that? And that's the beauty part of it. Let me see if I can go in here and get your, I think we can cut. Yeah, there we go. We can copy and we'll go into chat. So I wanted to share that with you. We'll put that back into chat. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Questions. Let's open up for questions. Okay, there's the additional training on there. I'd love to see what, let's look at the chat. Thoughts in here. Okay. Do we have information in here on what people are saying on my chats? Not showing there. What have you got, Deborah? You got stuff on there?
I'm pulling it up now.
Okay.
I think mostly people replied to what it is that they're going to do going forward.
Yay.
I'm not seeing any questions.
Oh, I know there's some questions out there. We just gave him so much information.
Okay, so Barbara says she's going to be managing her social media accounts to stay current with content and connections. And then B says reaching out to people starting next week. And let's see, Sheena, bio link by April 30th and
wow,
2 engagements by April 15th. And then Victoria, I'm going to improve making more personal connections with people by May 1st. Danielle, research, being able to ensure that my social media and outline platforms align with how I represent myself and my brand by May 1st. Victoria, again, I'm going to improve making more personable connections with people by May 1st. And
Lovely. And then Aslam looks like she's improving, meeting different people in her profession. She's in the healthcare dentistry industry before August. So these are wonderful goals. What I want to point out to you all, did you notice how different they are? Did you notice that where we all are, we're all humans, but we're all, I mean, out of everything out of the 19 tips today, did you notice that I don't think there were any that were alike? I mean, it's amazing that we're all honed in on something specific. That's what makes us stronger. Because guess what? When you get really good at that, the thing that you just said, the actionable item that we learned today, guess what? That's your story. There's your story for the summer. That's when you go out and you say, you know what? Oh, I'm getting some head nods. This is good. I love head nods. This is good. So yeah. So when you have a success at that and you say, you know what? I learned from the Red Hawk this thing about something called a bio link, or I learned that I need to show up on social media this way, or I learned to make sure that my research is consistent with how my messaging is, right? When we do that, other people lean in. Watch that. They will lean in because they want to learn from you. Because guess what? Now you're the expert. You know something that they didn't know, or if they've already done it, which I doubt, but if they have, then they're going to go, I'm so glad to hear you did that, because man, I did that and that was tough. And man, you were awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that with me. And all of a sudden now you have a common denominator to talk about. See, so everything you spent time with today then prepares you for, as you move forward, to connect even stronger. So how many of y'all can come the next one? Because we're going to layer that into our next training. Awesome. So registrations are open for that. We'd love to see you again. And I think we have time for just a couple of questions. If I know there's some burning stuff out there because we went through a lot. Tough to think of it, I know, right? Did anybody like the card? Did you like using music? Was that anything?
I love everything. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Hi, Bob.
Okay.
Bob with Epic Force.
Hello. So amazing. Thank you for that wealth of information. So I wanted to give you the three things that I really got out of everything. So your net worth is your net worth. I thought that was really amazing. Be a giver. I am a giver, and it's easy for me to do, but I did not realize the importance of it, and you allowed me to see that today from a different perspective. So thank you. And the last one, which was really important, know who can help. You know, when you have to ask those questions, know who you can reach out to. I think that is so important. So again, thank you for that information.
Oh, that's awesome, Bob. Thank you for being here today. And we put your comments in the chats there for people to kind of spark that up too.
Cool.
How
Great
wonderful.
job.
Yeah. Make sure you go see that cute little video though. I'm telling you, because I'm not big on cats, but it reminded me of, if a cat can do it, we can do it. I mean, she had sick kittens and she knew to take it to the vet. I mean, come on, like, right? Sometimes we have resources that are right here in front of us that we don't access because we don't see those people. We don't realize that they could actually help us with that. But like we look at things like this and then we're like, wow, I didn't know that they did that. And when you start asking people, if they say, I'm sorry, I don't know anybody who does that, guess what happens? What are they going to do for you? Like, for example, when I was looking for somebody to edit my book, all of a sudden when I started, the first like 10 people I was talking to didn't know. All of a sudden I put that energy out there. I'm getting all sorts of people that are helping me because those people then seeded the message. So that's what will happen for you too. Just like the cat, I mean, I don't know if she took her kittens to multiple places. I doubt it, but she was a great resource. And she said, these people will help me. And then she proudly walks out at the end with her kittens in the mouth. It's like, okay, they're fixed. So, and I'm sure the cat was grateful. So grateful is another big thing. Please make sure as you close your day out each day to say, have I been grateful enough for what has come into my life and for the people that are working with me? I think you will really find a shift, because I know the people that I've worked with, that I've gotten them to start seeing it and feeling it, and it's an opportunity, their lives have changed. And I don't mean to be preachy here, but I'm telling you, it's a perspective that when we start looking for those opportunities, it's as simple as somebody opens a door for you. Make a big deal out of it. Make a big deal out of it. You know, I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I appreciate you holding that. Oh my gosh, you know, I mean, it's like as you're trying to get out of the grocery store. Same thing in business. It's like somebody gets on the phone with you and they're going to put you in, and they're going to connect you over to the person you're trying to reach to. Thank you so much. Hear the person's name. Thank you so much, Shawana, for helping me here. I really appreciate your help. Thank you, Steve, for getting me over to Bob. I mean, you would be surprised because the next time you call, guess what? Those people, those gatekeepers, they remember how nice you were to them. But if you're invisible, you're like, okay, yeah, please put my call through, right? So show your gratitude, show up, reach out. Please go to Growth Networking, and you can get on my mailing list this way after you get there you go, growthnetworking.com. It's in there. You can grab your 5 secrets on Zoom. That will help you too. And then the mailings will continue and you'll get more information. Deborah, is there anything else?
That was a wonderful presentation, Elizabeth. Thank you so much.
My
Just
pleasure.
a reminder, we'll be sending out a survey at the end of the day. So please respond to that. It helps us with our funding efforts to bring programs like this to you.
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.